Wish I find a BBC to fuck me. First and foremost, I am a gamer, but also first and foremost, I am a guy who got scammed recently.
Yeah, it's shameful to admit this, but I actually fell for one of the oldest scams in the book live on stream a few days ago.
So, I take this personally.
So Charlie, aka Moist Critical, aka Penguin Zero, just called my game a scam.
Hindsight being 2020, I recognized that the name Greed of Man was actually a subtle little joke from the developer laughing in the face of everyone who bought the game.
There's a bit of a scam going on, but let's go back a bit. Let's go back a bit. I'm a gamer, like I said, alright guys? I built my channel on small indie games, Feed and Grow Fish, Amazing Frog. A lot of time goes into these veritable masterpieces that I have spent so much time myself playing. So I'm invested in the gaming space. I love to see game development going far. And I really love to see people who are doing it for the first time actually doing something that they're passionate about. I love watching people create things they love. There is a project or a game that has been going viral on TikTok for a while now that is being called a scam. Guys, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. There's a bunch of small indie developers on TikTok that have been showcasing their projects and getting a bunch of free promotion from it. A lot of these little projects are in early access, alpha states, etc. It's great. They're all works in progress. The people make it very clear. But there were some projects a few years ago on Kickstarter that never came to fruition. And they were touted as these next-gen things that just kind of stop. They were half-baked. They remain unfinished. We came across this idea from a YouTuber known as Big Fry. I myself have seen some of the videos on TikTok of the game, and obviously this whole thing has gained a lot of momentum, so the dominoes fall. Big Fry started the wave, and now there's a bunch of shit all over my feed about this. So the project is called Greed of Man. Hilariously ironic name, and it is by a fellow named Nick User. I don't know if that's how you say their name. I don't really know. I don't care to learn. I'm stupid and can barely speak English. This fellow, Nick, has amassed quite a large following on TikTok, as you can see. Lots and lots of followers. And this feller documents his projects and the progress of his game ideas. His journey has been quite impressive as a young game developer. He's learned everything by himself, going the absolute solo route to make his games into dreams. The only issue is that his dream game seems to change every single year, and Greed of Man was not his first project. The first project that he posted about was called Tomorrow's Past. It's got cars in it, and also you can buy apartments apparently as well. He posted some progress of Tomorrow's Past. By the way, very annoying name. I hate it. Feels like it was come up with in a boardroom. It was conjured up by some suit, but in reality it was conjured up by a genius. Time went on, he posted some progress from his game Tomorrow's Past, and you can see the model of the car, or the quality of the model of the car, is vastly different in terms of quality from the character model. This is because it's a marketplace asset. Someone else made it and they just dragged it, bloop, dropped it, bloop, right in the game like that. It's that easy to make a video game. You can steal stuff. You can steal stuff from people. Shush. Frankie hates scams, and she's getting a little irate. The game is multiplayer. It has cars, apartments. People started drawing comparisons to the likes of GTA, Grand Theft Auto, the billion-dollar game, the ultimate just money suck. Someone commented on this video, as many people tend to have questions about these sort of projects, and asked the man, is the full release of this game going to be free? He said, no, I put hundreds of hours into this and I need to pay for college. He said, how much is it going to cost? He said, 20. So this is the man's first game. It'll only cost 20 bucks. It's basically a clone of another game that uses free assets from a public marketplace that are made by other people. Kind of weird. Probably shouldn't sell clone asset games. There's a lot of free ones out there. I think that's the standard practice. And you know, all that being said too, I'm not a game developer. I did make multiple extremely popular mods for Minecraft, such as Brewcraft and Natural Selection. What the fuck do I know? Nothing. I'm not an actual game developer. I just copied and pasted code from Eclipse in different fucking jars of mine. It is so... Imagine Top G giving you quests. We got some low quality assets. All right, guys, some examples of low quality assets in this game and some high quality assets. Seems strange. He kept chugging away, posting at this game. Tomorrow's Past. It got a lot of hype, a lot of views. His follower count started improving. I mean, it looks good, guys. But he was still one man, and he had bitten off more than he could chew and announced the cessation of his work on Tomorrow's Past.
I have some unfortunate news regarding the development of my game.
Thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. Have you ever Googled yourself and discovered that your personal information is just scattered around online?
Bruh.
It can be shocking and unsettling. Quite frankly, it happens to me all the time. People are always trying to get in my business. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm so handsome, probably. Or, on the other hand, maybe you're tired of receiving spam phone calls to the point where you don't even answer the phone anymore. Well, we have a solution for you. Introducing Aura, your ultimate privacy protector. Data brokers make a fortune selling data to robocallers, spammers, and other goobers who just want to learn more about you. Even information like where you live. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. And get this, these data brokers are legally required to remove your information if you ask, but they make it really difficult because they're pieces of shit. Let Aura handle it for you. Aura does so much more than just protect your privacy. It's truly an all-in-one solution for online threats you can't see. Say goodbye to downloading multiple apps for parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, etc. With Aura, you get everything with an affordable price. Go to my link in the description, aura.com/Oompa. Click the link, support the channel, please. Please, I'm begging you to get Aura to do all the hard work of keeping you safe online. Peace of mind, guys. When you click my link, you get a free 2-week trial and it supports my channel. So go to the description box down below and get this exclusive offer today. Don't wait any longer. Protect your privacy with Aura. Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring this video. He talks about how pretty early on during the development of the game, his vision wasn't exactly clear. He didn't realize what he would actually have to do to get to where he wanted to go. So he had to make a bunch of compromises, like changing it from multiplayer to single player. He had to focus on story, and it would just kind of be like a shitty game that he wasn't super proud of when it came out. He admitted that the game looked great when he used marketplace assets, but at the time he started to make his own things, and it looked kind of terrible. I mean, the models do look pretty bad. And at least he's making progress and, you know, owning up to criticism or whatever. So our boy Nick here would take this year of experience and apply it to the next project. That's how you do it. You hone one knife, you fuck it up. You get another knife, you use those skills, you hone it a little better. It takes 20 tries, 1,000 tries to get one big 10 out of 10 from the judges. And by that I mean people not being extremely critical in the comments on TikTok. So 2 weeks after the end of Tomorrow's Past, he announced his next big idea. He downloaded Google Earth and put it into a game engine and turned it into a strategy game. Or that's what he wanted to do. It's just like a global scale war game. Pretty cool Google Earth moment. It's pretty badass, GeoGuessr. So what's the big fucking deal? Why is this a problem? He's a lone developer working on a game that takes hundreds of hours to create and put together and bring up to par in order to release to the public. He's in high school, soon to be college. I don't know, I think college. What's the problem here? The main issues stem from lost promises and go to asset flips. And basically the internet being a bunch of stubborn assholes and not letting him forget or move away from it, which is probably good. I really don't know. To me, it seems a bit blown out of proportion, but it does get worse. It does get substantially worse. A revelation occurred after one user took it upon themselves to remake the game with their own 2 hands and see how hard it is. And newsflash, just a bunch of assets. Literally just a copy and paste game. And if you don't know what that is, you just take a bunch of free stuff that people made that is not for commercial use or whatever. There's no fair use rules for assets in video games, or on top of free assets, also just cheap stuff, and you put them in the game and then upcharge it to make money off of someone else's stuff. And this usually happens in the Unreal Engine or Unity, something like that. And by the way, this isn't always bad. A bunch of developers do asset flips, and it's not illegal by any means. It's just frowned upon. But this is where it gets worse for this specific situation, because there's the price ranges for the game. It's the charging up front for the game that has caused the problem. The game started off as being free, as said here.
And originally the game was going to be free, but I ran into a little problem. You see, if the game's free, that allows people to hack a lot more easily. And if I make the game free, there's going to be a whole bunch of microtransactions so that I can make money, and you guys don't want to see that. It would just be like every other free-to-play game.
Which, that's awesome, man. That's cool. You can definitely make an asset flip game for free. Just use free assets, make a free game, build your recognition as a developer, and then just use the tools you're developing and make more stuff yourself and then sell it. Personally, I think it's especially frowned upon in the gaming world because games are sort of like art and not just a product. I mean, if you stole someone's design or something like that, it's just bad in general, as opposed to using someone else's work to like make something slightly bad. It's complicated, and it makes sense why people are mad, because it's art. This is when Nick started digging himself into a bit of a hole. The game went from 10 bucks to 20 bucks to finally $30, and people were furious with the lack of transparency and honesty from this developer to the consumers. Here's some cope. Let's check it out. You should make it free, like you said, for months and months. No. I see the argument. He's building up the brand on it being free, and then, you know, just removing the butt plug to reveal a $30 price tag. Bullshit! I have been following the development since it started because it would be a free or cheap game, and now the game costs $3. At least put it on sale. I have to pay for a server. I didn't want an in-game purchase because I think it makes the game feel cheap. A lot of people have pointed out on his Patreon he's making $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month, I feel like for a small-scale game, that's definitely going to cover the cost of putting it up on some servers. I'm not an expert, but it doesn't seem like it's that expensive for a small-scale game. This isn't fucking Call of Duty. I mean, let's be real. But, you know, saving for college, I get it, dude, I get it. So how the fuck could this be labeled as a scam? It's quite an accusation that I haven't made yet, I don't think. I'm just investigating. It's quite something to throw at someone that looks as if they're developing a passion project. Well, my friends, it is a common theme in game scams to just string people along. I know about that quite well, guys. I got strung along once. It starts off being this small project. Oh, it's free, whatever, 10 bucks. And then it's like, oh, $5 more, we're almost done to development. Oh, $10 more to be able to add cars that fly with wings and they poop. Be able to add $40 more to be able to interact with prostitutes, aka the oldest profession in the world. It's beautiful. Shit. That should be added to a game. It's the continual asking of support and lowering the bar that people think constitutes as being misled. I would have to agree, in all honesty. And the excuse of the server cost is a valid one, but saying you're going to charge a set amount based specifically on that is a poor excuse, because Steam offers free peer-to-peer servers, and you can just create Steam dedicated servers with their API that are free for you to run yourself, or, you know, the cost of power, or you can just take that API and attach it to a public hosting form. It doesn't cost $3,000 a month. That's what I'm saying. This fellow's just been getting dragged, basically. But also, you know, there are consequences to misleading people on the internet. It seems like there's consequences to everything, and that's good, I feel like. Not for me, but for everyone else, I think it's good to have consequences. What do you guys think? Then, the man created an entirely new game called World of Fate. You could take territory and get minerals or some shit, I don't fucking know. It was 10 bucks, and only a few weeks after his original announcement, he put it on Steam for everyone to purchase. He did update this game for a little bit, but people felt it was not worth the $10 price tag, which, when you're selling a game on TikTok, that makes sense. That's a lot of money for a TikTok user. In my opinion, this game doesn't seem terrible. The World of Hurt, or World of Fate. It forgets the name so quickly for some reason. I need things like Mugu Gaipan, Poopy Butt Fart, 69,420 million. To me, this game
Keep forgetting about my stomp skill. Man, what the fuck are these guys doing spawning behind me? God damn it.
Does not appear good.
Just constant fucking enemy spam. Jesus fucking Christ.
My game is priced at
this entire game is just ads everywhere.
And to me, this seems like a really reasonable price for my effort. Because where I live, the minimum wage is $15 an hour. So this game is worth 45 minutes of your working time in the US. Now, I understand a lot of people can't afford this in other countries where the minimum wage might be lower. And that's completely okay. I get it. You can't afford my game. That's okay. And it's not worth that much to you. That's okay. But I will not be lowering the price from $10. It will stay at 10 United States dollars because that's what I believe is fair for me and everyone else in the US. Plus, I have a lot of expenses for the API that I use for the Globe stuff. They charge me a lot of money too, so I have to pay that off as well. I hope everyone understands and this clears everything up.
He's insinuating that when you do your own thing, you have to pay yourself a wage, which that's just not how running a business works. Most of the time, you work for free, unless you're very successful, which is rare. I feel like this is just a kid that has a bit of misplaced passion. You know, I think it's incredibly impressive, and he probably has a very bright future working for a game dev team, or maybe he can step his way out of this. I don't think that this is that big of a deal. I think the whole scammy nature of just like continuously lying to people and just changing your mind and shit about a product and then just defending yourself is not good character traits. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Critical made a video on this, by the way, and it's resulted in quite a bit of hate, as you can probably imagine. And it seems like he's started to crack a bit. He lowered the price of the Greed of Man from 30 bucks to 10. Makes sense. Did he deserve all this flack? A little bit by millions of people. Probably not. That's just the nature of the internet and doing something publicly that people don't like. You have the potential for massive consequences. And, you know, you're not going to die. It's just people being idiots online. I personally hope that this fellow Nick doesn't get
Where the fuck are you going? Get the
discouraged
fuck
by
away.
the nature of the internet, and when you do something that people don't like, there are massive consequences potentially. I do think that this project is probably completely ruined and will not end up working out, even though he did say he released a vehicle modification system recently. I'm not totally sure. He said he's taking out all the assets now, which is good, and that everything is handmade, which is good. He's making steps in the right direction. This entire thing started off with
Jesus,
so much
what the fuck?
criticism and then just an inability to take feedback and self-defense, which comes off poorly. And then just whack excuses for why he's changing his mind and charging for a game that should be free. And then boom, Critical makes a video, and now he's got to make the change. It's interesting. I am happy that he still has some supporters, but you know, it is the reality that a bad taste was left in a lot of people's mouths, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. I hope you can use that energy to be a badass and make the best game ever and make us all eat our words. And then I'm sure Critical would gladly play your game, as would I, and promote it. If you can, you know, this isn't the end. Just don't mislead people. Don't mislead people, or you will be called a scammer. Do I think he's a scammer? Probably not. Do I think he's a terrible businessman? Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, it's misplaced passion, and I wish him the best. Do not attack him. Obviously, guys, do not attack him. Wish the best. Don't buy the game. I mean, it's not going to be that good, to be honest. Then again, there are fucking no good games at all, so maybe I should make one.
Hey, I can hear you now.
Beautiful, and you sound great. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Am I coming through? Am I clipping or anything? Or?
No, you sound good.
Oh, cool. Hey, thanks, man.
Yes.
How you doing today?
Jesus
I'm
fucking.
doing pretty okay. I bought new sandals, always good. It was well overdue. Old ones were very old. So yeah, with big successes like that, it's hard to say that they can be anything but good. You emailed me.
Oh yeah, I mean, you totally need. Is it really hot where you are right now? You live in like Tacoma or something, right?
I'm in
or, like,
Seattle.
or...
Today was pretty nice. I mean, it's summer.
Big
so
guy.
it's
Big guy.
been a
Alert.
season,
Alert.
but I think that's
Alert.
cool.
Back up. I need my space.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's how it's gonna be for a while.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
so you
Daddy,
emailed
no.
me to disagree.
Daddy.
I don't
Stop.
remember what it was about. Let me up.
Oh yeah, well, I was watching
Where is he?
your
Oh, shit.
Son
God,
of
he's
the
fast.
modern day debate appearance. Do you
Oh,
remember
no,
that?
no, no. It's too close.
That was the lady.
Way
with
too
the,
close.
PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, she had like the 5 common arguments or something. Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like you really seem to disagree with her on a lot. And I was listening to your opening statement, and you really seem bought into this whole self-ID view of gender and sex and all that, and how just identifying as a woman
Shit,
identifying as a
my
man
dick.
makes you trans. I guess I just had some
Oof.
disagreements with that. And I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts.
All right, all right, all right. We got through
Yeah,
that.
certainly.
Jesus.
Hit me up. What do you disagree with?
Well, I guess to kind of talk about the things we do agree with.
Another
I do
asshole?
believe
Get the
that
fuck
gender
out of here,
and
bro. I
sex
just beat your boss.
separate, but they are related.
Make me come fuck you up.
As you said in your opening agreement, in your opening statement. And you know, when people are born, they're assigned a sex, they're assigned a gender at birth, right?
Yes.
Can we both agree on that?
Right. I guess we extrapolate.
Got a little
one
glory
based
hole
on
down
the
here? What is
actual
this?
Sex with a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and usually it's like penis boy, vagina girl, and even like, I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, and then like even with intersex people, they have indeterminate genitalia, but they are still assigned a gender.
Yeah,
At
and
birth, right?
they're usually raised as one. You know, in a lot of cases with intersex people who have indeterminate genitalia, the parents will make a kind of arbitrary decision, social and sometimes medical, as to like how to raise the kid.
God damn it.
And sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a complicated topic.
Oh yeah, I've seen like a documentary where like this guy, they thought he he just had like kind of a misformed vagina, and they raised him as a girl. But then it turns out it's more like a misformed penis and testicles. So then he, I guess, not really transitioned back into being a man. But once he started going through puberty, they kind of realized he was a man.
Yeah.
So
playing with stakes.
even sometimes they're messed.
Why did I do that?
Yeah, even we try our best, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope you do.
Hopefully. And so once we're assigned that gender at birth, we can either stick with that
God
gender,
damn it, too early.
somebody cisgender, or we can transition into
Alright,
a
alright.
transgender role.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So why do you think these people would want to transition into another role?
Well, I don't think the roles have clear and definite definitions to begin with. We're kind of relying on a set of arbitrary and socially determined taxonomies to
It's a
describe
shortcut.
what it means to be a guy
Yep.
or a girl. If you want to move out of that, I mean, that could be because you just don't think it aligns with your personality archetype. It could be because you think there's a dissonance between your gender identity, your preferred gender identity, and what your body has developed to be. Because people do associate, of course, femininity and womanhood with tits and pussy or whatever, and vice versa, the other way around. Or you could do it just in a completely arbitrary fashion, like a rejection of the social label, which is also totally fine. I don't think you need like a good reason to change your gender. Just if you do it, right?
Oh, thanks for the shortcut.
Well, I don't know if it's like if you do it type of thing. Maybe like if you're more on the gender fluid side of things. But there would need to be something
bro.
they would
Right to
see
the boss
in the other
fight.
gender that they would want to transition to, right?
Well, it's kind of like any other label, right? A person referring to themselves as a gamer or a goth or a sports fan. I don't think there's that much stake in the label.
Well, could you be a gamer if you don't play video games?
Yeah, theoretically, right? If a
Or
person,
like board games, or like let's say any type of game. So let's say you just read books.
yeah, if a person was
Like,
really
could you say
into
you're a gamer?
the culture of gaming, I guess, like they were really interested in its like aesthetic or history. Like there are those people who like fastidiously collect shoes despite not like really wearing any streetwear or like things or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty varied, Or it's certainly like if we're looking for definitions like goth or whatever, I mean we're getting so blurry. It's difficult to draw any kind of definite lines. I mean, right? Find me a person with a definite like concrete
excuse
line
me?
where you are or aren't goth, depending on which side of it you're on. It's not really possible.
Oh god, multiple tentacles!
But even though these
No ammo.
outlines are blurry, doesn't mean that these outlines are not real, right?
I think they're real
Shit.
in the sense that people have very real understandings of that, but not in the sense that there's some kind of absolute definition you can refer to. Like, if the idea of what a woman is in America is really inconsistent and will vary massively person to person, but there's still a kind of general social archetype that I think you could refer to in a constructed sense. But
Shit.
I don't know if you could ever say
Get
that's
my
wrong.
health.
Like if you ask somebody like, what does it mean to be a woman? They're like, well, I think being a woman
Shit.
means
Give
being
up.
strong. You wouldn't be like, nah, no, that's a man
damn it.
thing, idiot. Like you get, even though we do typically associate
Yeah,
strength,
obviously you wouldn't think that, right?
Reload.
Like, that'd be ridiculous.
yeah, but that means it's
Right.
non-falsifiable because even in an instance where you would imagine you would have like an exact
Oh,
contrary
shit.
example, like, well, no,
That was
men
slow.
are the ones who are considered strong. That's the typical role, but you still can't prove them wrong for saying it, right? So I don't think there is like a hard line definition.
Damn it.
No, I don't think there's a hard line definition either. That's why we can see people like Snooki from the Jersey Shore and someone like an actress like Sarah Paulson, and how they're
Oh,
two
God damn
very
it.
different women, but they are both in fact women, right?
Yeah, I mean, last time I heard.
Yeah, and then we can also
Damn
see
it.
how. What was that?
Oh, I said last I heard. I don't
Yep.
know if your minds have changed.
Oh, me neither. As far as I'm aware, they're both cisgender women, but we can also see a transgender woman
Shit.
is a lot like a woman, right?
Well, I don't know what it means to be like a woman, to be honest.
Okay, then let's talk about like transgender men. Like a transgender man looks a lot more like a man than, let's say, a cisgender woman, right?
Yeah, if they dress the right way and take hormones or sometimes get work done, then they can certainly. I mean, there are plenty of trans women who pass, right, cis women, and likewise for trans men. So there are, in an aesthetic sense, there are definitely people who cross that
Damn it.
boundary, pretty effectively, I'd say.
Yeah, so we see that there are people who want to transition to something, right?
Alright.
Lots of people.
I gotta save my abilities for the
So I think
tentacles.
there is like a definition of being trans.
Those
And,
guys
like,
go
kind of like a
nuts.
definition. We all have this general idea of what being a man and a woman is.
Yeah, well, I
So
think
I
we
kind
have
of
a.
understand your argument in the zombie debate, where you're kind of saying like these things are just words, and they don't mean anything.
Again,
things
another
like that.
boss
Well,
fight
there-
for the
I know a lot of
fucking
trans people
ads.
who, like, these words mean a lot of things to them, right? Like
Right.
it's their whole life and
Man.
self-expression, right?
Yeah, they don't mean anything inherent. They mean a lot individually.
Well, no word means anything inherently, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I agree. This is why
Where's
I
the
hate
boss fight
when
at?
people say, "Well, objectively, a woman is this." Objectively, no word is anything. That's not how anything works. Language. We
Fuck, I don't
construct these
remember where I
definitions.
was.
But in this case, the definition is doubly constructed because not only do we decide like what the words mean, the term we're referring to is socially constructed too. So we're dealing with like two layers of ambiguity when it comes to whether or not anything can be said to be objective.
That's the
when it comes to
labyrinth.
gender identity. I'm not saying that gender identity doesn't mean anything to people.
Damn,
I'm
these
just saying
map
it doesn't
controls
mean
fucking
anything
are confusing.
empirically. It doesn't
Normally
mean
it's
anything
L2 and
in a way
R2 zoom or
from
L1 and
cross-reference
R1
to
zoom.
check to refer to.
They got the
And for most
R1 as the
people,
zoom
it's a
out.
subjective agreement where you could say, okay, I don't know what it really means to
Yeah,
be a
R1
woman,
zoom
but I
out,
know that, for
L1
example,
zoom
here
in.
in America, we have general traits we associate with it, like motherhood, being kind and patient, and that sort of thing. But that wouldn't be an objective marker, and you wouldn't find a woman who isn't kind or patient and go, well, by these definitions, then she's not a woman, because it's
The
all
lament.
arbitrary.
That where I go?
Yeah, like I said, there is no hard line on what it is to be a woman. But like objectively, like a cisgender male could not objectively be a woman, right?
Well, I mean, those would be two contrary terms.
But a
for-
transgender woman could be a woman because she adheres more to the social characteristics we all tend to share in our culture, right? Since we do live in a society and interact with people
The
on a
lament.
daily basis, like
she
no man
would
on
be
the
a
island,
woman.
right?
Whether or not she did
Yeah.
anything,
She would be.
changed anything about her behavior. If you refer to the self-ID model, then all she would have to do is say she's a woman, and that would be enough for me. Obviously, if
So,
she
like,
wants
why
to be
would that be
perceived
enough?
as a woman.
Like, why would that be enough if she has no desire to?
Man, I don't remember
be a
where the
woman?
fuck I went.
Let's say it's a cisgender man who has
Just
no
give me a
desire
fucking
to
objective
be a
or a
transgender
little
woman,
GPS marker or
but he just
something.
identifies
What the fuck
as
is that? A
woman.
giant ball
Well, that
told me to
would
kill
be
some
the
powerful
desire.
creatures
If
to
you
collect the segments
identify
of the
as something
index.
that's a
Nice. It would
conscious
be
process,
nice if you
then it would
highlight
be
something
the
for
desire
me.
to identify as that thing. That would be the
Just,
only marker I would need. I wouldn't really care if she wore, feminine clothes or anything like that. It wouldn't really relate to my, my categorization there. You could say that she's not feminine, right? Like, if there's a trans woman who says that she's a woman but does nothing to transition, you could fairly argue that she's not feminine and doesn't look or act womanly. But it wouldn't really matter much to whether or not she is one of those things, because for anything that such a woman would be that deviates from our expectations of what a woman is, there are cis women who are like that too.
But doesn't that feel a little transphobic that you're saying a cisgender man with no desire to transition into a woman would be just as valid?
Yeah.
Yeah, even like, I mean, would interfere with that penis boy, vagina girl, and even like, I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, generally.
I'm gonna roll a blunt. Play some
Yeah,
ExoPrimal.
and then like even with intersex people. they have indeterminate genitalia, but they are still assigned a gender.
Yeah,
at
and
birth, right?
they're usually raised as one. You know, in a lot of cases with intersex people who have indeterminate genitalia, they
Oh, I
come
saw
from
this
kind of arbitrary
already.
decision, social and sometimes medical, as to like how to raise the kid, and sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a complicated topic.
Oh yeah, I've seen like a documentary where like this guy, they thought he just had like kind of a misformed vagina, and they raised him as a girl, but then it turns out it's more like a misformed penis and testicle. So then he, I guess, not really transitioned back into being a man, but once he started going through puberty, they kind of realized he was a man.
Yeah.
So
playing with stakes.
even sometimes they're Yeah, even we try our best, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope we do.
Hopefully. And so once we're assigned that gender at birth, we can either stick with that gender, making somebody cisgender, or we can transition into a transgender role.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So why do you think these people would want to transition into another role?
Well, I don't think the roles have clear and definite definitions to begin with. We're kind of relying on a set of arbitrary and socially determined taxonomies to describe what it means to be a guy or a girl. If you want to move out of that, I mean, that could be because you just don't think it aligns with your personality archetype. It could be because you think there's a dissonance between your gender identity, your preferred gender identity, and what your body has developed to be. Because people do associate, of course, femininity and womanhood with tits and pussy or whatever, and vice versa the other way around. Or you could do it just in a completely arbitrary fashion, like a rejection of the social label, which is also totally fine. I don't think you need like a good reason to change your gender. Just if you do it, you do it, right?
Well, I don't know if it's like if you do it, you do it type of thing. Maybe like if you're more.
Man,
on a
these
gender
LA cars are
fluid type of
popping
thing.
off. Scared my kitty.
But there would need to be something they would see in the other gender that they would want to transition to, right?
Well, it's kind of like any other label, right? A person referring to themselves as a gamer or a goth or a sports fan. I don't think there's that much stake in the label.
Well, could you be a gamer if you don't play video games?
Yeah, theoretically, right? If a person,
Or like board games, or like let's say any type of games. Let's say you just read books.
yeah, if a person was
Like,
really
could you say
into
you're a gamer?
the culture of gaming, I guess, like they were really interested in its like aesthetics or history. Like there are those people who like fastidiously collect shoes despite not like really wearing any streetwear or like kicks or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty varied, Or it's certainly like if we're looking for definitions like goth or whatever, I mean we're getting so blurry that it's difficult to draw any kind of definite lines. I mean, right? Find me a person with a definite like concrete line where you are or aren't goth, depending on which side of it you're on. It's not really possible.
But even though these outlines are blurry, doesn't mean that these outlines are not real, right?
I think they're real in the sense that people have very real understandings of them, but not in the sense that there's some kind of absolute definition you could refer to. Like if the idea of what a woman is in America is really inconsistent and will vary massively person to person, but there's still a kind of general social archetype that I think you could refer to in a constructed sense. But I don't know if you could ever say that's wrong. Like if you ask somebody like, what does it mean to be a woman? They're like, well, I think being a woman means being strong. You wouldn't be like, nah, no, that's a man thing, idiot. Like you can, even though we do typically associate
Yeah,
strength.
obviously you wouldn't think that, right? Like that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, but that means it's
Right.
non-falsifiable, because even in an instance where you would imagine you would have like an exact contrary example, like, well, no, men are the ones who are considered strong. That's the typical role, but you still can't prove them wrong for saying it, right? So I don't think there is like a hardline definition to refer to.
No, I don't think there's a hard line definition either. That's why we can see people like Snooki from the Jersey Shore and someone like an actress like Sarah Paulson, and how they're two very different women, but they are both in fact women, right?
Yeah, I mean, last time I heard.
Yeah, and then
I
we
don't
can
know if their
also
minds have
see
changed.
how. What was that?
Oh, I said last I heard. I don't know if their minds have changed.
Oh, me neither. As far as I'm aware, they're both cisgender women. But we can also see a transgender woman is a lot like a woman, right?
Well, I don't know what it means to be like a woman, to be honest.
Okay, then let's talk about like transgender men. Like a transgender man looks a lot more like a man than, let's say, a cisgender woman, right?
Yeah, if they dress the right way and take hormones or sometimes get work done, then they can certainly. I mean, there are plenty of trans women who pass, right, cis women, and likewise for trans men. So there are, in an aesthetic sense, there are definitely people who cross that boundary pretty effectively, I'd say.
Yeah, so we see that there are people who want to transition to something, right?
Yeah, lots of people.
Yeah, so I think there is like a definition of being trans, and like a kind of like a definition. We all have this general idea of what being a man and a woman is.
Yeah, well, I
So
think
I
we
kind
have
of understand your argument in the zombie debate, where you're kind of saying like these things are just words, and they don't mean anything and things like that.
Well, they don't mean
Because I
anything
know a lot of trans
inherently.
people who like these words mean a lot of things to them, right? Like
Right.
it's their whole life and self-perception, right?
Yeah, they don't mean anything inherently. They mean a lot individually.
Well, no word means anything inherently, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I agree. This is why I hate like when people say, well, objectively a woman is this. Objectively, no word is anything. That's not how anything works. Language, we construct these definitions. But in this case, the definition is doubly constructed because not only do we decide like what the words mean, the term we're referring to is socially constructed too. So we're dealing with like two layers of ambiguity when it comes to whether or not anything could be said to be objective. When it comes to dress, yeah, well, I
So
think
I
we
kind
have
of understand your argument in the zombie debate, where you're kind of saying like these things are just words, and they don't mean anything and things like that.
Well, they don't mean
Because I know a
anything
lot of trans
inherently.
people who like these words mean a lot of things to them, right? Like
Right.
it's their whole life and self-perception, right?
Yeah, they don't mean anything inherently. They mean a lot individually.
Well, no word means anything inherently, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I agree. This is why I hate like when people say, well, objectively a woman is this. Objectively, no word is anything. That's not how anything works. Language, we construct these definitions. But in this case, the definition is doubly constructed because not only do we decide like what the words mean, the term we're referring to is socially constructed too. So we're dealing with like two layers of ambiguity when it comes to whether or not anything could be said to be objective. When it comes to gender identity, I'm not saying that gender identity doesn't mean anything to people. I'm just saying it doesn't mean anything empirically. It doesn't mean anything in a way one could cross-reference or check or refer to. At the most you can get is intersubjective agreement, where you could say, okay, I don't know what it really means to be a woman, but I know that, for example, here in America, we have general traits we associate with it, like motherhood, being kind and patient, and that sort of thing. But that wouldn't be an objective marker, and you wouldn't find a woman who isn't kind or patient and go, well, by these definitions, then she's not a woman, because it's all arbitrary.
Yeah, like I said, there is no hard line on what it is to be a woman. But like objectively, like a cisgender male could not objectively be a woman, right? A woman.
When it comes to gender identity, I'm not saying that gender identity doesn't mean anything to people. I'm just saying it doesn't mean anything empirically. It doesn't mean anything in a way one could cross-reference or check or refer to. At the most you can get is intersubjective agreement, where you could say, okay, I don't know what it really means to be a woman, but I know that, for example, here in America, we have general traits we associate with it, like motherhood, being kind and patient, and that sort of thing. But that wouldn't be an objective marker, and you wouldn't find a woman who isn't kind or patient and go, well, by these definitions, then she's not a woman, because it's all arbitrary.
Yeah, like I said, there is no hard line on what it is to be a woman. But like objectively, like a cisgender male could not objectively be a woman, right?
Well, I mean, those would be two contrary terms.
But a transgender woman could be a woman because she adheres more to the social characteristics we all tend to share in our culture, right? Since we do live in a society and interact with people on a daily basis, like
she
no man
would
on
be
the
a
island,
woman,
right?
whether or not she did anything.
She would be.
Changed anything about her behavior. If you refer to the self-ID model, then all she would have to do is say she's a woman, and that would be enough for me. Obviously, if she
like,
wants to
why
be
would that be
perceived
enough?
as a woman.
Like, why would that be enough if she has no desire to be a woman?
Well,
Let's say it's a cisgender man who has no desire to be a transgender woman, but he just identifies as a woman.
Well, that would be the desire. If you identify as something, that's a conscious process that indicates a desire to identify as that thing. That would be the only marker I would
Oh,
need.
put my
I
ass in
wouldn't
his
really
face.
care if she wore,
Here you go, Krieger.
you know,
Get some of
feminine
this.
clothes or anything
Little
like that. It
motivation
wouldn't
before the
relate
fight.
to
There
my,
you go.
you know,
Get a peek of my
my
nuts.
categorization there.
A little
You
goatee
could say
for you.
that she's not
I
feminine.
like that, big boy.
Right? Like,
Ooh,
if there's a
vigilant.
trans
She's
woman
like, oh,
who says
god
that she's
damn
a
it.
woman but does nothing to
I
transition,
get
you could
time to
fairly
sexually
argue
harass
that
the rest
she's
of my
not
team.
feminine and doesn't look or act womanly.
God, it's a good thing
But
they don't have
it wouldn't
mics.
really matter much to whether or not she is one of those things, because for anything that such a woman would be that deviates from our expectations,
No,
of what a woman is,
Durbin!
there are cis women who are like
Oh,
that.
Magnum.
But
What up,
doesn't that
Maggie?
feel a little transphobic that you're saying a cisgender man with no desire to transition into a woman would be just as valid as a transgender woman who would
Bro said he got a
be-
teddy bear on his
let's say not even
chest.
traditionally like a super hyper conservative.
Oh,
let's say like
as soon as I said nobody got a mic, this man comes in with a...
masculine.
with
But
a
she wants to
banger.
project herself as a woman.
Yeah,
Why
he
would
got a
that be
little
just
teddy
as
bear on
valid
his chest.
Because
as a cisgender man.
well, if
Not
if
really,
they're-
I don't
Desire to
see
transition.
the eyes.
Well, if they say that they identify as a woman, they're not a cisgender man. You mean a totally not transitioned trans woman, somebody who isn't doing any work to make themselves appear as or act as a woman. But the validity of the identifier woman, it's not a more than thing, right? Like, for instance, being tall and strong are masculine characteristics. They're associated with being a man. But I'm not more of a man than a guy who's shorter than me. Like, you could say I'm more masculine in that respect, but the whole what you identify as thing, it's modal. It's not really like a spectrum where one person can be literally more of a woman than another. They're both women. Maybe one's more
Oh god,
feminine.
Magnum. Hurry the fuck up.
Wait, so like a cisgender man with no desire to transition.
There you go,
no
Daddy.
Dysphoria. Like, let's say Steven Crowder just
Oh, good thing,
says he's a
Krieger.
woman
Here you
as
go.
a joke. That's
Some
as
nice
valid to you
motivation
as,
for the
like,
fight. There you go.
like
Hold
Janet
on.
Mock, or like that's as
Yeah,
valid
there
to
you
as,
go,
like, Ray
Daddy.
Cox or something. Like,
There you
If
go.
you think a
that doesn't make any
person's-
sense.
If you think a person's being insincere,
There you go, a little pre-fight
like,
motivation
for
there,
instance,
Krieger.
like, I think there are lots of ways that we respect people when it comes to self name. If a person wants to change their name, you know, they don't need to prove anything.
I don't know if he liked it or not.
One. But if I'm in school and said, like, I'm in high school or whatever, and some guy goes up to me like, hey, my new name is Shit Dicks, so you have to call me Shit Dicks. Like, I don't think that I'm having my belief on recognizing and respecting other people's names being challenged when I don't do that with them. You know? If a person's being transparently insincere, then, like, okay, you can be rude to them on that basis. But if a person's being sincere and somebody's like, yeah, I'd like to, you know, I identify as a woman, but I'm not going to transition
God.
in any way, then yeah, they would be as much of a woman as any other woman. All women are equally a woman.
God, what the
They're
fuck
not
was that
equally
aim?
feminine, of course, or they're not equally passable.
Yeah, they're not obviously
Oh.
they're not equally feminine. I mean, there are cisgender women who are not feminine that we still consider women,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah,
Where is
absolutely.
bro
like
going?
Butch lesbians who sometimes get accused of being trans.
Good shit, Merson.
Kicked out of afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're still the same gender, right? Even though they branch out in all these ways.
Yeah.
So like someone could transition to being a woman, like a butch woman, right? Like I said earlier.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, if they would
Yeah,
probably
so
be
why are they
considered.
just as
Thinking
valid as
Nimbus.
someone like Steven Crowder?
Everybody get
Well,
guns.
I don't think they're just as valid. Steven Crowder does this bit.
Well, he said
insincerely.
all women are women. He said to be a woman is just to identify as a woman, right?
Yeah, but as I said, if a person's being transparent,
I think Nimbus is the hottest.
That or any element
my
of their
favorite.
identity, I don't feel I have to be, you know, considerate towards it. But if they're being sincere, then sure, yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm just totally lost on this whole. Because I said a cisgender man with no desire to transition.
The cisgender.
So you think you could be sincere about being a woman with no desire to be a woman?
Well, wait.
And not being a woman?
Is the
Like, that's the
cisgender?
thing.
Let's go.
Is the cisgender
We got the
man
blockade.
saying they identify as a woman?
Yeah, they're saying I'm a woman.
They're not a
So you're at a
cisgender.
bar, the cisgender man, he's like, I'm a woman.
That they're not a cisgender man. That they'd be a trans woman.
Yeah, but like,
Let's
what if
go.
it was like a redneck bar in like Alabama or something? And like,
I mean, whatever.
he's like, oh, look at me, I'm a woman.
Okay.
Don't I sound as crazy as like a radical lefty?
Well,
Like, you wouldn't believe him?
If they said like, I identify as a woman, or like, I mean, so are they like they're
That's
like
not what I'm saying. He said I am a woman.
just so they're not like coming out to me. They're just saying I am a woman.
No, they're just saying it.
Oh,
They're just saying I'm a woman.
Well, I don't know their story. What if they're a trans woman who just hasn't had the ability to socially transition? They could be in the closet for all.
Well,
I
if
know.
it's like I said, where I said they're a cisgender man with no desire to transition.
So, what? So they're just saying I'm a woman, and they
Yeah, they're
identify.
just saying I'm a woman.
That would mean they
Why is
identify
nobody
as a woman,
here
'cause they just said
helping
I'm a woman.
me protect Magnum?
Or are you
So when
suggesting
John
they're lying?
Travolta was in Hairspray, and he
God
was
damn it.
acting like a woman and being a woman, you believed he was actually a woman?
I'm afraid I didn't. see
Dilphosaurus.
that.
Well, let's say somebody in drag like RuPaul,
Fuck.
he dresses up like a woman. He's like, oh, hey, girls.
But
So-
RuPaul doesn't claim to be a woman. RuPaul is doing a performance where femininity is the subject of the performance. RuPaul doesn't claim to be a woman.
Beautiful.
Okay, how about when Lauren Southern got her gender changed to male on
Good
her
shit, Vigilant.
license?
Well, that'd
And
be
she
a,
said, I'm literally a man.
that'd be a
Like,
legal
that's literally-
designation.
Damn, that skull outfit is
you know,
hot.
Well, that'd be a legal designation. There are people whose legal gender doesn't
Ugh.
overlap with their actual.
So when a trans
Identify.
woman transitions legally, that's not like really transitioning?
Well, what I consider to be whether or not you've crossed the threshold and become a woman or whatever is if you simply say you identify as one or indicate that that is what your gender is. You're expressing what you think of yourself to be. The legal identifier is it's the consideration of the state, you know. And if Lauren Southern were to go up to me and go like, "Haha, I'm a man now," actually, I probably
I
wouldn't
didn't get
take
any
it
guns,
seriously
goddammit.
because I don't trust her. She lies all the time on many
Where the
issues.
dinos at?
And I think she's just being
Let's go.
insincere. But you know, if Lauren
Wait, so if
Southern,
a trans person came up to you and you didn't believe them, that's okay for you to misgender them?
if I felt a person was being insincere, then yeah, I don't think there's anything transphobic
Oh, okay.
about
Shit.
That's
marking
interesting.
people for insincerity. Like I said, if a person went up to me and was like, "My name's Shitfuck," actually, like I don't think that it would be rude of me to go, "Okay, well, I'm not going to call you that."
Interesting.
Is it? I mean, this doesn't happen in the real world. What you're describing, what we're talking about, is
Well, I mean, I already brought up Steven Crowder identifying as a woman. I already brought up Lauren Southern
But the thing
identifying
is,
as a man legally.
you might
like, how do
notice
what do you mean it doesn't happen in the real world?
that neither of those instances
Beautiful.
caused any confusion
Let's
or
go.
trepidation in the trans community. There was no actual difficulty in navigating bad faith actors on the far right trying to make fun of trans people
Marsan, what are you
by
doing?
flippantly identifying as them. In the real world, trans people are, you know, going through a pretty rough time, and they consider their identity pretty important in most cases, and they usually act with a great deal of sincerity and care and consideration when they talk about stuff like this. If you want to like test this system by going, well, what if people acting in bad faith? Then congratulations, every social construct is up on the table. I'll tell you, I feel the same way about race. I feel the same way about nationality and ethnicity. What does it mean, for instance, to be Italian or Irish? You know, nobody has 100% ethnic consistency going back far enough. If a person says they're Irish when in reality they're only 50%, 40, 33%, the God's honest truth is that I just don't care. We're talking about identifiers that are, you know, maybe they're important to them and other people, but what matters most to me, and I think most people, is that they just get some basic respect.
God
and get taken
damn, that was
seriously,
beautiful.
as long as they're not hurting.
Jesus.
Wait, so you don't think Irish people and
Need some more
Italian
dino
people,
rain.
like those,
More.
do you believe those terms like mean something?
Just sold a bit
They
of
mean something in
fighting.
the sense that we have a sort of subjective understanding of what they mean. What does
Thank
it
you,
mean
Leviathan.
when a person says
Yeah, as
they're
in they
Irish?
mean something. That's what I
High
said.
quality
Yeah, that's,
data.
well, everything means something in the sense that we ascribe meaning to it. I don't think there's an
Yeah, because
objective meaning.
that's language, Bosch. Like where
Yeah,
every word has meaning.
well,
So like,
of course. So
could
what
an
does it
Irish
mean?
person who's
what-
never been to Antarctica
Oh,
and
PvP. God
has lived
damn
in Ireland their
it.
whole life and never been to Antarctica,
Nimbus.
say they've been to Antarctica.
Whether
Because
or not-
traveling is
I'll
just like
try
a
to
concept.
protect the
So
team.
no, that's not a mode of identifier.
Jesus, this is gonna
Traveling
be
and
hard.
having been something or somewhere, that's a actual empirical measurement. which isn't the case with, say, being a woman. So I wouldn't say that. But what does it mean to you when a person says that they're Christian?
I mean, it usually that means a part of the
Nice.
Christian church they believe in a God, Jesus, probably like the Holy Spirit.
Who's got the hammer?
Oh, well, hold on.
They
Whoa,
probably
whoa.
believe like Christ was crucified on the cross.
Marsam?
Well,
Something like
hold
that.
on. I know of Christian denominations that don't believe in separate versions of everything that you just mentioned. The Holy Trinity, lots of Christians don't believe in that. And there
Beautiful.
are people who believe that the
Can you name like 2 fractions of the Christian, system that don't believe in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit?
yeah, wait, like a lot of Protestant denominations and a lot of American-oriented like cutoffs, like Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, American Scientists. Yeah,
Beautiful,
I'm not
beautiful.
like an expert
Jehovah's
on.
Witness don't believe in the.
I think
Yeah.
I think at least one of the 3 I just mentioned. I said like the American branch-offs. I'm not an expert on religion, but like it is an objective.
Beautiful.
Well,
fact.
you're
There are
telling me
people
like
who-
these.
No, wait.
Like that just seems kind of weird to me.
No, I'm
Oh, we
telling
got
you
100. Let's
Christian
fucking
believe in
go.
Christ
So
or God or the Holy Spirit.
Let's do
I'm
it.
telling you that your definition of Christian is not adhered to by people who go to church weekly. So would you go like up to them and go like, well, objectively you're not a Christian?
All right, let's go.
Also,
Need
believing
another
in
100.
Christ isn't just a Christian thing. The Muslims believe that he was a
Sorry,
a
Marsam.
prophet of
He's
Allah,
got to get those
right?
kills.
I mean, the Jews believe in the Old
Yeah.
Testament, and that's predicated. Right, so...
Well, no, wait. Don't the Muslims not believe that Christ is a prophet?
No, don't-
That's why they believe in Muhammad, right?
Don't they think he was a prophet, but not the prophet? Like Muhammad was the big one.
I don't know, I'm not a Muslim, dude. I'm like culturally,
Shit.
let's say Catholic at most.
Culturally Catholic. That's interesting. Can you tell me what that means?
Oh yeah, it means like my family was all Catholic. I was raised around Catholics, and I have a little understanding. Like I know the dinner prayer.
Okay,
I
so
know like
if a person said they were culturally Catholic, but they didn't know the dinner prayer, would you call them on that? Would you say that it's a denigration of the term culturally Catholic?
well, no, I would probably just say like, well, we were raised in
Beautiful.
like a Catholic environment. Because that's what I mean by culturally Catholic.
Define Catholic environment. Being raised in the Philippines, but
You know
maybe
with
their
other
parents were
Catholics.
agnostic. Well, you can't appeal to what I know here. You have to tell me, what does it mean to be raised in a Catholic environment?
Like you do the dinner prayer, you celebrate Easter,
Celebrate Easter.
you
Okay.
talk about the saints, you do. What was that?
Oh, so what if you grow up in a Catholic environment, like say in Mexico, but your parents are agnostic and don't explicitly do any of those things, but the whole world around you is Catholic? I mean, you walk.
Yeah,
by
then
like
you would
Mother
also be
Mary.
in a Catholic environment because you're surrounded by Catholics and their traditions, right?
Oh, so you would say
And you're
then
around
that,
all the saint days
Beautiful.
and everything.
Damn, we fucked
And,
his
like, in
ass up.
Mexico, they have like all the saint days and like
sure.
yeah, like you would still be culturally Catholic. What you
So anyone from Mexico would be culturally Catholic. to you.
well, if they grew up in a
right,
Catholic
let's
part,
fuck
if
'em
they
up.
grew up in like one of the more indigenous like parts like Oaxaca, or well, I guess they do have Catholics over there.
How many
But
years?
there are like Jewish pockets of Mexicans and things like that.
Oh, sure, but they're still in a broader environment. How many years would they have had to have been in those Catholic
Let's go!
pockets of Mexico in order for you to not call them a liar when they say they're culturally Catholic? If they left at 12, would that be okay? Or if they left at like 10? Well, 10's
Jesus
still old
Christ,
enough,
I
think
fucked them
that's
up.
a strong
Can you
number.
repeat the question?
Holy
I feel like
shit.
I got kind of went around on it.
Oh, of course. If a person leaves Mexico when they're young and then moves over to a non-Catholic area, how long must they have been in Mexico in order for them to be authentically culturally Catholic?
I don't know, 12 sounds like a pretty good call. I mean,
Fuck,
I
they
don't
got
have,
me.
like, a hardline answer or anything like that.
You don't. But what if they
Yeah,
leave
like
it?
there's no hardline answer to what it's like to be a woman, but we do see there are things that transgender women and transgender
thank you.
men want to go to the other
go.
side, right?
A lot of them
Also,
do,
when
certainly.
it wouldn't mean to anything, right?
What do you mean? What? I'm sorry?
Like we do see that there is something that we recognize in reality.
Yeah, we have an intersubjective understanding of what it means to be a man.
Shit, who got
Though
me?
it varies time to time. culture to
Vigilant,
culture,
probably.
Neighborhood to
Yeah.
neighborhood, even family to family.
Oh, the
of course.
dinosaur,
But yeah,
shit.
we-
Yeah, that's why we have like the
Broad.
new-haired woman in Oaxaca, Mexico, who, well, even though they're born cisgender men, they transition
Thank
to
you, Nimbus. Oh,
transgender
you're a
women,
goddess.
right? because they see something they want to identify and project onto, and be perceived
Fuck.
into their life, right?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on that specific ethnic group. Or their
Well,
gender
I mean, it's just kind of like a trans. It's it's kind of like the transgender. It's like the Mexican version of being transgender. So we see that this appears in other cultures, right?
Well, yeah, so yeah, absolutely.
I think you mentioned like
deviation
the
from-
Philippines. They used to have like a third gender or something.
A deviation
we see
from
the
what we consider to
Feminelli
be
in, like, Italy back in the
cisgender
day.
behaviors.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, just deviations from what we would consider to be cisgender identities have existed all over the world at times, though in different ways. But what I guess what I'm curious about fundamentally, because the whole point of talking about the culturally Catholic thing is that when people tell us about what they are, or what they feel they are, or how they feel,
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm
we
coming.
don't
I'm on my
really
way.
call them on it because it would be insane to. In
I'm right here,
cases.
smashing
if
it.
a person described themselves,
Protect me.
as like, okay, well, I'm going to need qualifiers for all of your claims on this, that, the other, and not just qualifiers, but proof.
Perfect.
As well. Like, I need proof you were in Mexico.
Yes!
I need proof.
Oh,
that you have 6 items
shit.
of black clothing, or you can't call yourself.
Alright, good
We don't
game.
normally do that. We
Goddamn.
normally just go, oh,
Good
well,
shit,
okay.
Nimbus.
And if you wanted
Keeping
to
us
go
alive,
later
holy
after
God.
understanding
Well,
that,
yeah, we don't normally do that, but if someone just says I'm a goth, they don't have any black stuff, and they don't listen to The Cure, like, what do you?
well, you can't prove
Then
them
I think
objectively
it would
wrong.
be fair at that point to be like, wait, what makes you a goth? And like maybe they listen to Bauhaus on the side.
Sure. Well, hey, how about that? If a person tells you I'm a woman, and you're having a conversation about gender identity, and they don't seem to have done any transitioning, you can say, "Really? Well, what does that mean to you?" And maybe you'll get an interesting answer. Because if they are being sincere,
Yeah,
they will have an
say
answer.
that because I would be kind of confused.
Well,
And if they told me something like I do have a desire, then I would consider them a woman.
what if it's about their
But
internal
if they
world?
said I'm a cisgender man that has no desire to transition, then that statement is invalid, right? They're just saying random words.
Well, yes. If they said I'm a cisgender man and I'm a woman, then that would just be a linguistic contradiction that would render what they're saying moot, or at least I
Yeah, so
would.
there is a difference between men and women, right?
I didn't say there wasn't a difference between men and women.
Well, because Sanvi brought up in the argument that you kind of bring up this idea of the social characteristics, which I agree with. There are social characteristics for a woman.
Made me
social
want to play with
characteristics
Nimbus.
for a man. I believe in them because that's why I believe people transition to go from a different gender, right?
Many people do, but if a
And you
person
kind
was
of brought up this whole idea that it's all, like, it's not even real. It's all fake. We can be whatever we want. And I don't think it's kind of like that. I think it's kind of like a more personal thing.
Listen to whom you're speaking, right? I mean, do I act as though I don't believe there's literally any such thing as a man or a woman in a social sense? I dress in men's clothing. I talk and articulate and gesture the way men tend to. I mean, clearly I'm adhering to some standardization here, even though there's variance within it. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as man or woman in a social sense. I'm just saying that exceptions to our general understanding of these subjects exist even within cisgender people. Butch lesbians, in my experience, look and act nothing like women. In fact, when they're wearing their flannel, they are indistinguishable from scrawny men.
I've actually misgendered butch lesbians a couple times at my local gay bar.
No, I'm sure they consider it a compliment.
Yeah, they took it in stride. They're like, I thought you were a twink, don't even worry.
So I think to a lot of people, even if a person was just to say to me, oh, I am a woman or I identify as a woman, and there wasn't anything external that indicated this, I would just assume that at least at the moment, whatever they've got going on in a gender sense is an internal process.
Huh. Interesting.
The way they think about themselves.
Because that way you make it kind of sound like it's like if a baby said they were like a helicopter or something, like you kind of feel it'd be just as valid, right?
Oh my God.
No, because a helicopter.
That's kind of what I took away from your argument.
A helicopter isn't a mode of social identification. I don't think a baby knows what a helicopter is, so I don't think that could happen or be believed if it were said to be true.
Okay. Let me try to think of a better way to explain.
Do you agree that a person's gender identity can be a largely, not entirely, but largely internal experience? Like the way you think as a guy.
Well,
it's not just.
It's a pretty internal experience, but we have it.
So I don't think.
Like, if like a baby said they were like a helicopter or something, like you kind of feel it'd be just as valid, right? Because like these words don't.
No, I'm sure they consider it a compliment.
Okay. Let me try to think of a better way to explain that, I guess.
Do you agree that a person's gender identity can be a largely, not entirely, but largely internal experience? Like the way you think as a guy.
It's a pretty internal experience, but we have it.
No, because a
mean
helicopter.
anything. That's kind of what I took away from your argument.
A helicopter isn't a mode of social identification, and I don't think a baby knows what a helicopter is, so I don't think that could happen or be believed if it were said to be true.
Okay. Let me try to think of a better way to explain
Do you
that, I
agree
guess.
that a person's gender identity can be a largely, not entirely, but largely internal experience? Like, the way you think as a guy,
Well, I mean,
it's not
yeah,
just
it's a pretty
like,
internal experience, but we have it. Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
Oh,
Keep
it's.
repeating.
I mean, not just in like a brain chemistry way, but if you're thinking, and you're a guy, and I'm a guy, right? And if I'm thinking about how
Yeah,
I
we're
present
both
myself,
cisgender
dressed,
men.
right.
Got
and,
you,
and
big
if you're thinking
daddies.
about how you
Keep it
present
juiced
yourself,
up.
engage with the world, how you want to be treated, these things are affected often.
Keep that
by
mommy
one's
milk
gender
dripping for
identity.
you.
That's an internal process, you know. In my mind, often I feel that transitioning socially is just a way of getting others to ascribe to you the label that you internally ascribe to yourself. In your mind, you think of yourself as something. You have a idea of what it means to be you, and that's a broad idea. Because what it means to be a person, that's like it's a
Hey, don't be
really,
afraid to get in the fight. Just stay
abstract
together, and I'll keep you guys
concept.
juiced up.
But you want people to be respectful of that, you know. And we have rough terms for it. Right now, we have like man, woman, non-binary. These are very rough terms. We have other identifiers. Maybe you want to be treated differently by saying you're an introvert or an extrovert, you know. But transitioning socially to me is just a way for people to say, all right, world, I'm ready for you to try to treat me the way that I treat myself. And that's a rough process for a lot of people, and it can involve a lot of work. But, you know, the reason
Vigilante,
why I'm-
what are you
I'm
doing?
open
She's
and
fighting one
permissive
guy
with these
back there.
ideas is because, you know, I don't think there's any value to stopping and checking, right?
Vigilante.
I don't know if we do that for other identifiers. Why do it here?
Oh no, I totally agree. Like,
Oh, she's
transitioning
fighting,
socially is a pretty scary thing
nice.
to do because a lot of trans people think like, do I pass? Am I going to be harassed? Am I going to be, you know, attacked in the street, right? And like, but they do have a desire inside themselves.
Where
to
are
be
these guys
perceived
going?
by the outside world and their community as the opposite gender they were assigned at birth. So we do see that these things have a meaning more than just saying, I am a man, I am a woman.
Get your fucking asses over here.
Right, well, but the meaning is going to shift person to person, system to system. We're not referring to an objective metric.
Well, yeah, everything
whether-
shifts from person to person, right? Like, we all don't have the same perception, we all don't have the same, we're not hive mind.
Right,
We're
so
all
if a
individuals.
person's perception of woman possibly includes somebody who looks like me, I don't think a lot of people would agree with that, but I don't think they're objectively wrong. They can't be proven
Good
to be
shit.
wrong because there is no objective marker to compare it to. You could say
Wait,
it's
look
an
like you
unpopular
and, like, let's say exact clone of you?
Sure, exactly like.
So you're saying a cisgender man is the same as a transgender woman?
No, 'cause
Shit.
if they identify
Like they're
as
on
a
the
woman,
same spectrum?
Okay,
they'd
it's
be a
dead.
trans woman if they identified as one.
No, but you said someone like you, like a cisgender man who doesn't identify as a trans woman.
Well, if I didn't identify as a woman,
As equal to a transgender. Sorry, go ahead.
well, if I didn't identify as a woman, then I would just continue to be a man. Most people don't have an issue referring to me as a man.
Where are you guys
but if
going?
I looked exactly as I do, and I said I am a woman, it's entirely possible that I, or the clone of me who said this, whatever, has
Damn it, Leviathan's
an
confusing
understanding of what
them.
it means to be a woman, which can include a person who looks like me and acts like me.
Yeah, so you think a cisgender man who doesn't act with the social role at all, like at all, and doesn't go on HRT, doesn't get surgery, doesn't interact with the social role, like, why are they just as valid as someone like Leela Alcorn, who killed herself because,
Valid as what?
like, why would that person just be as valid as Layla?
Valid. Well, we're all valid as humans. What do you mean?
You're saying a cisgender man is as valid as, like, Layla Alcorn. Like, why is that?
Oh,
But
what the
valid
fuck
is-
is
I
this
feel
guy
that's
doing here?
transphobic to
As
me.
people, we're all people. I don't know what you mean by valid. We're all
Oh,
people. I
fuck.
think that
Should've
I'm
used my
as
shield. I'm
valid
so
Yeah, you're
dumb.
saying
as any
you're saying a
trans
man
woman.
who looks like you and just randomly says, like, I'm a woman is just as valid. Like, I feel like that's a pretty
in
bad
being
argument.
a woman, if a
Thank
person
you. Oh,
identifies as a
fuck.
woman, then that to me is the end of the argument. If you want to argue
why?
about any, well, because the whole argument that I've laid forward about self-identification, the internal world of gender, the fact that it's literally not possible to empirically disprove what I'm saying, the social utility, the whole conversation.
Yeah, it got a little crazy back there. We'll stick together.
Well, let's say
Good
this Fox
shit.
2.0 who just is like you, but just says she's a woman. Let's say she's a woman
So
that
this would
still
be a
wants to
trans
use he,
woman.
him pronouns.
This would be a trans woman who looks
Let's
like
say it's
me.
let's say it's a cis
God, roadblock.
trans woman who wants
Don't
to
die.
use he, him pronouns and looks like you,
Okay.
and was assigned male at birth. You would say that's
Why isn't my bullets hitting my song?
just as valid as someone like Abigail Thorne, who has transitioned socially, characteristically, has had.
Holy shit, he fucking
I think
tore that
she's
guy
had some
apart.
female thermalization surgery, right? Or is that just ContraPoints? I'm getting them confused.
I don't know. She's
Like,
British.
just as
That's the
valid.
end of it for me.
Wait, you don't think she's trans?
No, I think she's British.
Okay, so you don't want to answer the question. Okay,
No,
get it.
I
Like-
do want to answer, and I have answered. I was making a joke about
Well, you see, yeah,
British
your
people.
answer was she would be as valid
if somebody who
as
looked.
Vosh 2, which is just, by all accounts, AMAV, he, him pronouns.
If a person
Good
just
shit.
says
God damn.
that they're a woman,
That guy came out of
thereby
nowhere.
identifying as a woman. That's what if you say you're a woman, that is identifying as a woman. Like that's the definition of identifying
Shit.
as something. Then they are as much of a woman.
Yeah,
like
we
their
can all
self-ID
identify as
model.
something, but just because we identify as something doesn't mean it's true, right?
Well, that's because most things that we might identify as aren't identifiers. The way that woman is, a helicopter is not an identifier. It's a type of military equipment. They're civilian helicopters. Whereas woman is an identifier. It's one of those things that you really can just say, I am X, and that can be an argument. I'm an introvert. Find me someone who can disprove that. I am, I was about to say I'm a Virgo. I think you can disprove that. Not that it fucking matters. No, if you say I'm a woman, you identify as a woman, whatever, then that's the end of it to me. Now, if you want to say, is a person more
Well, can I ask
valid
a
in
question
other
about that real
The
quick, or
identifiers?
fuck? Oh, she's flying.
Well, you can ask whatever you want, but the self-ID model is remarkably simple, so my
I got
answer
you.
is not going to vary much.
Well, I guess it is simple because it's like 1 + 1 = 4 is simple. But
Can you
does that
objectively prove
make sense,
what?
right?
Can you objectively
like,
prove?
could
Wait,
you-
wait.
If
Can you?
someone was a party
Wait,
animal
no,
and
wait,
went to
wait,
a party
hold-
every
hold on.
single night
Hold
and
on.
hung out with new people.
I don't
I'm
think
asking
you
a question,
can. No,
Vosh.
I know you are.
Someone
but
went to a
I'm-
party every single night and hung out with new people every single day and didn't get tired of it. And then they came to you like, yeah, I'm actually an introvert. You would believe them?
So, if there's one thing I really dislike with conversations like this, it's when you don't learn lessons from previous answers. As we both agreed, you
Roger,
and I
boys.
both, there's no objective answer
no, I don't.
whether or not somebody is or is not a woman. There's no way, there's no objective reference.
Yeah,
point
there
there.
isn't an objective answer,
So
but there
your
is an
comparison,
answer, right?
well, there are many answers, not an answer, singular. There are many. So your
Yeah,
comparison
there's some
to
wrong answers, there's some
one
right
plus.
answers.
Okay, can you prove then how somebody's definition of woman is wrong?
God damn
How
it.
would you do so?
Yeah, like if a cisgender man with no desire to transition and wanted to use he, him pronouns said, I am a man, that wouldn't be true, right?
Prove it.
I said no desire to transition.
Prove.
No desire.
Okay.
They just randomly say they're a woman.
You seem to think that identity and transitioning are the same. I don't know why you think that.
Why do people
can't
transition
prove-
if not to it? Like,
There we go, boys.
Self-actualize and self-realize.
We did pretty good. We had a fucking volcano
gender,
dinosaur to fight.
affirming
We
surgery
did pretty good
without being
considering
trans
that.
all
I don't know where the
time.
fuck
People
he
get it
came
for all
from.
sorts of reasons. People get mastectomy or breast implants. People get hair regrowth, or that thing they do where they put the hair stalks back in. It looks really uncomfortable for a couple of weeks afterwards.
Yeah,
People
hair
get really
plugs, right.
excited. Right. And men do this. Women do this. Men can have breast reduction with that gynecomastia surgery.
Yeah, are they doing these things randomly, or are they doing these things for an end outcome?
They're doing these things because they want to, but it's not always because they're trying to medically transition their bodies. There are lots of cosmetic surgeries we do that may or may not potentially align to gendered interests that always don't, right? I mean,
We got a
it's
dino.
every-
Yeah, I don't believe you need like surgery or all this stuff. Like,
Oh, then
people,
then
like,
why do you keep equating
Emilio
identity
Robles.
and transitioning there?
Well, can I just point to someone like Emilio Robles Avilla, who was a colonel in the Mexican Revolutionary Army, who lived openly as a man from like 1890 to like
Shit,
1980.
get over here,
You're
sniper.
referring to
Like, he
the
didn't have any
trans
surgery,
man
he just-
with the revolver who threatened to shoot people who would misgender him.
Yeah, like he didn't have any surgeries, he didn't have anything. He just socially transitioned, right?
Yes. Okay. So
Because,
if
like,
a person,
You
so
know,
wait,
penetration surgery didn't start till like the 1980s.
so we're cutting off
like-
medical intervention entirely. Now we're just talking about social transition.
yeah, like people.
God damn it,
I
David.
think just socially transitioning is enough, but you have to like at least socially. Like
Bitch,
unless you're in the
take this
closet
heel.
because you're in a really bad
Oh.
area, like Layla was.
Well, what about that?
Right?
What if a person's in the closet? They haven't transitioned socially, but for years they've had a very strong internal belief that they are a different gender than that which they've been assigned.
Got you, daddy.
Yeah, I would believe them because they have that desire.
How? Well,
But a
how could you
cisgender
know?
man who does not have that desire.
Wait, so again, you can't be a cisgender man who identifies as a woman. You would just be a trans woman.
What the fuck?
This is like
Well,
the
John
50th
Travolta is a cisgender man who identified as one in Hairspray, right?
No, that's called acting.
Tyler Perry is a cisgender man who identified as one in Medea,
So
right?
this is called acting. This is a different thing from
It
identifying.
is acting. Social constructs and gender and thing are all kind of like a gender performance, like Judith Butler said, right?
Nice little
Yeah,
slow-mo
but
freeze
Judith
effect
Butler
there.
would conk you over
Beautiful.
the head for citing her here because when she talked about gender as a performance, she didn't mean literal, actual acting as a job that you go into and act.
And
in
do you
front
think
of a
Judith
camera.
Butler would believe that a cisgender man with no desire to transition could identify as a woman and be correct in being a transgender
Judith
woman?
Butler? Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me? 100%. Judith Butler.
Beautiful, as soon as the round starts. Let's go.
Does a woman stop being a woman when she lays to sleep?
Haven't
and
somebody,
does not
haven't
act or
seen somebody
perform
whip
any
that out
function?
at
No,
the
no, of course
beginning
not.
of a round.
No, Judith Butler is an ally to trans people of all stripes and colors. I don't
Well,
think
that
there's
I'm
any-
an
early.
ally of trans people too. That's why I believe there is a difference between someone with no
We're missing
desire
one more
and someone
psalm. I think
with a
we can do
desire.
without.
There is a difference. You just
You
described
seem
it.
to believe you seem to believe someone like Steven Crowder could say
Oh,
I'm a woman.
shit.
We've
and
already
would believe
answered
him,
this.
unironically.
Are you forgetting
Oh,
earlier
pilot,
portions
nice.
of this conversation? We've addressed
The
this
best
exact
fighter.
question. See, this is
Yeah,
what I
you
mean.
said you
wait,
would
wait,
agree
wait,
with
wait, 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 please.
Get in there,
This is what I
Rassam.
mean.
I got
'cause
you.
We're running in circles now. You acknowledge there's no objective way to prove or disprove the metrics by which one is a woman, but then you talk about helicopters and 1 + 1 = 4. You cite Judith Butler and repeatedly cite existing
Oh, we're
trans
gonna
women
die.
as though there's some kind of looming specter of cancellation that'll get me to change my answer or a clip you're trying to bait out.
Oh
The
no, I'm just trying to
answers
bring up
I've
real examples
provided-
because you're kind of vague in all your answers.
Yes, it's interesting
So I'm
that
bringing
you're
up real people who
you're
really matter,
concerned
you know, who
with-
are really fighting for their lives right now.
It's interesting you're concerned with real examples when the subject that you're interested in is meaningless and affects nobody. The idea of a person who
So
claims
since
they're
it's meaningless,
trans.
we shouldn't talk about like.
Well, if
It's a
it's well, so
hypothetical
do you
thought
do
you
you
should
then
engage
do you
with.
then see the argument that you are concerned with a meaningless topic right now, and we
Shit.
are arguing entirely over nonsense?
Well, I'm a conservative real topic. You don't want to engage with it, so I'm giving you a
Wait,
hypothetical.
what do I want to engage with?
You seem to think being a woman or a man is just
Shit.
saying I'm a woman or I'm a man.
That is the
Rhino's
You
subject.
don't
popping
seem to
off.
believe in all the characteristics and everything.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between trans women who want to socially or medically transition and trans women who don't. But the difference is whether or not they want to do those kinds of transitioning, not whether or not they're a woman. That's why it's called the self-ID model. You just need the self-ID. That's it. This is, by the way, I interact with a lot of trans people. This is not an experience that I've ever had, where like, interacting with somody who insisted that they
You
were
never
women
met a
and
trans
also,
woman or a trans man that said I have a desire to be this opposite gender. They're like I'm doing this randomly. Like what do you mean?
I'm not entirely sure what you think I said. What I said is I've never encountered this person you're
Yeah,
referring
you
to.
said that you met a lot of trans people that don't have this idea that I have, right?
No,
I
no.
might misheard you.
Yeah, I've never met a person who is like what you're talking about. Somebody who says, "Hey, I am assigned male at birth, and I go by he/him pronouns.
God
I'm a
damn, back
woman,
the fuck up!
So I'm not going to do any kind of social and medical transition." If such a person were to exist, I would still respect
Where the fuck
them,
are the
but
rest of
they're
my
also,
teammates?
At least not within my line of sight, somebody that exists.
No, but why would you respect them?
Where are you
because
guys?
it's the self-ID model. They self-ID. That's it.
So then, like when
Thanks,
conservatives are
bro.
passing all these anti-trans legislation, and they're saying being transgender isn't even real,
Oh,
they
we're
can
gonna
point
lose.
to your self-ID model and say well, look, even in their model, like, I could be a woman.
The self-ID model has been rallied around as a celebrated system for accepting trans identity because it's good for them, not because it's bad for them. Conservatives would not stop being transphobic if we were like, oh, no, as long as you socially transition. That's not how that works. They wouldn't give up and go, oh, well,
all right, there
were
we go.
going to exterminate your whole group. But, you know, now that you've only considered people trans who have engaged in some level of social transition, well, then we're going to hold off. This isn't a real problem. In truth, none of this is a real problem. There's no harm at all in...
Anti-trans legislation isn't a real problem? What you...
No, what you're talking about isn't a real
To battle
problem.
these legislations, we need to prove that trans people are valid and real. And that there is a real person that we are defending,
no,
a real protected
what you're
class
talking
that we are
about
defending, right?
isn't a real problem. What you're describing is not a real problem. As I just said, no, you're not going to end the culture war against trans people by saying that trans people
I'm
are
not
only
trying to end the
trans.
culture war. I'm trying to, you know, validate trans people's existence.
So, and can you
Like
explain
in
to
Florida,
me how you've
people in
made...
Florida who, didn't they just pass a bill that your doctor can deny you gender affirming care? Under your prescription, just to be a woman, they won't even need that care. They can just say, well, I'm a woman. So I'm
Wait, hold on. I don't think you've thought
Uh-huh.
through your positions very well, because you already argued that a person doesn't need any kind of medical transition to be considered valid in their transition.
Yeah, they need a social transition.
So what you're
right?
arguing now is that under your model, people would collectively agree that they would need breast implants or bottom surgery in order to be considered a trans woman, and that would be the metric by which they would get gender affirming care.
Wait, I'm kind of lost. Like, I feel like
you
trans
you are
women
lost. That's the problem.
get
Your arguments are
No, I
inconsistent.
feel like you're kind of misrepresent. You're kind of making me like
no.
a trans
You just
medical person.
You just made
when
the
I'm
argument.
just saying that it's important to someone to affirm their gender.
You
for
just
something like female feminization surgery or phalloplasty.
You're aware of
You're
the
saying,
fact.
well, you don't need that.
Wait, hold
just
on.
being a man is being
If a
man.
person wants medical treatment to help them align with their gender identity, and they go to the clinic and they say they want that, that is them doing that. I'm not entirely sure what's missing under the self-ID model. If they go
so
there,
why is that as valid as?
if a person who looks
why
like
is a
me,
cisgender man with no desire?
it's not a
just as valid
cisgender.
as
It's
someone
not a
who-
cisgender male. No. You don't understand the terms that you're using. If a person goes to a healthcare clinic and who looks like me and says, "I'm a woman, I would like bottom surgery," you realize that is both an element of social transition and an expression of interest in medical transition, right? So at that point, they already would have met the criteria that you think my people don't meet.
Are we talking about a cisgender man who went in? For
We're not
bottom
talking
surgery, or
about
are we talking
anything. The thing you're talking about isn't real and doesn't exist. You're talking about a made-up
People
group
who
of people
pretend to be
who would,
trans
No,
don't.
this isn't real. This isn't real. It's not real. This group, you already admitted this is nonsense. This doesn't happen. This
Well,
group
you
of
said
people doesn't
you-
exist. You're obsessing over them because you're trying to find a wedge argument against a system that works for everybody and hurts nobody.
Well, cisgender that doesn't work
Who's
for
hurt?
everybody,
Explain to me
right?
who's hurt materially.
Well, I guess nobody's hurt materially.
Well, then
right?
that's it. As far as I'm concerned, we've well done
Like
it.
if I came in and said,
I'm vigilant.
well, I
Nobody
think
gotta
black
change
people
my
deserve
mind.
equal rights, because I don't even think black people are human. Yeah, I don't think any of us are human.
We got two tanks. I don't think we need both you
Like, lower than
assholes.
dirt. Is that materially? I'm still supporting black people, right?
What are you talking
We're gonna
about?
need another assault.
Well, you're saying if there's no material difference, you can have all these insane thoughts, right?
One of you assholes
What are
want
you
to change?
No, I ask again. What are you talking about?
You guess not.
You
Oh, he
said
left the game. Good leave.
it doesn't affect anybody materially, right? Like a person
Self-ID
with gender
for
dysphoria.
gender does not materially harm anyone. Can you please suggest to me who it harms?
Well, I think it harms the trans movement because then
And why do
Republican
basically all
lawmakers can
trans-
look at this self-ID and be like, see, they think a cisgender man with no desire
There's-
is just as equal as a woman.
So what do you mean
Right?
just as equal? Men and women
That
are
is a
equal.
material harm, right?
Wait,
Like, they are passing these bills.
What do you
and they are
mean?
hurting the community.
What do you
And they
mean?
are against these drag shit.
What do you mean?
There is a material harm
A
to not knowing what these
cisgender.
words mean.
What do you mean? A cisgender man is equal to a woman? They are. What do you
In
mean?
my example, it was a cisgender man with no desire transition. Said they were a woman. And
Okay,
you said
so
you would believe them.
I'm gonna do this one more time. okay? And it's going to be the last time you get to say that, because it makes me feel like you're not taking the argument seriously. I can tell you're smiling when you talk. I can hear the way your corners of your lips are turned. But we'll try this one more time, because I know you like the attention, right? There's no such thing as a cis man who identifies as a woman. You are categorically describing a trans woman. If you say cis
so
man
when John
again,
Travolta identified as a woman in Hairspray, that he was a woman.
there it is.
When
all right, that's it. Yeah, that's one of the metrics where you can tell when a person is deliberately lying or acting in bad faith. It was like 50 times with the same arguments over and over. That's a shame. He came in nice, but the nice at the beginning, I think, was just to drag this out longer, which I don't know if it did. I think it would have lasted about this long no matter what. Thanks, Vosh. Now I have brain cancer. Oh, sure. Brain cancer conversation to be sure. But hey, wasn't that a great reaffirmation of the fact that there are no arguments against the self-ID model? Wasn't that great? Much like the bitch that he was initially bringing up in the beginning, the PowerPoint bitch.
Roadblock, you gotta use that.
People, but
yes, and turn around. You gotta catch him.
Arguments. There are no actual arguments against it. You know, it's irrefutable, mathematically proven. That's what the Oppenheimer movie is about. He discovered self-ID. That's what it was very powerful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is like a pattern that I always run into, where they have the initial questions and arguments.
Rod, you gotta step it up, bro.
On, the more it feels like they're trying to bait a clip, because they keep returning back to the most sensationalized language possible. Like, you think a cis man who says they're a woman would be equal valid to this one trans woman who was murdered? Like, oh, are we really testing the ideas here, or are you just trying to like bait a clip? Like, also mentioning Abigail Thorne, who is a fucking gender abolitionist, who argued that dysphoria isn't even categorically real. I don't know what kind of infighting that was meant to provoke, but that person probably doesn't know much about people on the left, because they're probably a fascist, or at the very least.
Shit.
Oh, right. But the longer and longer the conversation goes on, you can tell they're smiling when they're talking, and their voice starts to drawl more. As in, they say longer. They take longer to say the same thing. It's because they've lost the initial bite because you haven't taken it, and they're now just trying to like cycle back. Like when I was like, hey, can you explain what harm the gender ID model is? And he was like, oh, I can't find one. But what if I said all people, even black people, are bad? It's like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? How did you make that kind of observation? The smiling thing, you can hear when a person talks while they're smiling. Like, you can hear if you know how to look for it. That's just an experience thing. Basically, everyone does it. You can hear it when I do it. When I talk while I'm smiling, you can tell I can't really fake a smile that well, but it's like, you know, like, you can hear me talking. There's like, there's just, it's a way it sounds different. I'm not like an audio expert, so I don't know how it sounds different, but you can tell. And also the drawl, the DRAWL, when they start like, you know, it's because it's biting for time primarily. Oh, so anyway, yeah, consider this a rounding endorsement of the effectiveness of the self-ID model. Look at what an extreme example he had to go to try to find like a hole in the whole system, you know? What if you had a trans woman who didn't do any kind of social or medical transition and didn't want to? Yeah, they're a woman. Really? So they're just like, let me name all these trans celebrities, you know, like, yeah.
Damn it. They disappeared.
What if a cis guy was a cis guy? Oh, that was the last one too. He started dropping words. When he started saying stuff like, a cis man is just as valid as a trans woman, he said that multiple times too. I think you're missing a few words in there. Wouldn't you mean to say a cis man who claims they're a woman as valid as a woman as a trans woman? But he dropped half the words. Yeah, he said cis trans woman as well. So at the end he was like, well, what if a man was a man? You know? What? Dude, what if a man was a man? Crazy shit. I'm sorry for the people who wanted me to go like super hard against him, but with that particular style of bad faith engagement, you usually want to like wait for them to fall apart, and then you go like, you're a waste of time back, you know? Because if you just start yelling, they get what they want. It's not because they're not emotionally invested, so being angry at them doesn't provoke from them frustration. It provokes from them catharsis. Little bits of rhetoric advice. All right, so yeah, that was good. Seems he was convinced identity equals performance. Well, he doesn't know that the person to whom I just spoke is almost certainly a fascist who liked the PowerPoint lady because the PowerPoint lady is also almost certainly a fascist, or at least a transphobe, who fronts with bad arguments. And he wanted to take a shot at doing the same, but he doesn't know that much about trans issues, which is why we keep getting the awkward phrasing, and you know, it betrays a lack of understanding. But that doesn't mean he was stupid. He was smart enough to make a big mistake, which was to follow through in the arguments long enough in order to indicate that the later stuff he said was bullshit. Like him saying there's no way to objectively prove a definition of woman right or wrong, but then later saying it was like 1 + 1 = 4, or speaking with the coherence of a person older than 4 years old, and then later making an attack helicopter joke. They're inconsistencies that betray a person's not actually engaging in good faith. Sorry, I just thought I'd turn this into like a basic rhetoric and honesty lesson, since we didn't get like a big blow up at the end, you know. But yeah, it's. Is there a reason you didn't address that his argument was predicated on being able to read minds? Because I assume from his perspective, he would say like, so they say they're a woman, but they're he, him, and they don't want to transition. They say they don't want to, and they say they don't care. It's like, you know, I talked about the inner world thing, but again, you know, only so much you can get there. Yeah, it is so difficult to get good debates with the right because they're all giggling lunatics who think that they can tear you apart by asking the same kinds of questions that you see people facetiously ask in the replies to like cat turd or whatever, you know, like, well, if I could take this one to a lefty, they'd
Sky, why would you why would you use that here?
They're not prepared for
Why?
jokester like me tearing their ideology apart with one simple question phrased out over an hour. All right, good hustle, team. The handle, oh, there, I had the water bottle turned the other way around. Is there ever a good way to use bad faith to fortify your positions? Yes, I did it with the conversation with that TikTok tanky guy whose name I don't remember. In that case, I was being bad faith in the sense that I was pretending to not know about the Eddie Liger. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, why are they so far ahead?
Details of the Ukraine war and Russia's involvement.
They probably don't have a bot.
Onwards. Though in that case, it wasn't because I was trying to lie about the information in the debate. It was because I was trying to prompt him to leave out bits of the story so I could make fun of him for it, which I think worked great. Asking him, like, can you tell me more about this phone call? And then he sends me an article that has nothing to do with what he was talking about. And the article is like, the chancellor spoke on X, Y, and Z. And he's like, well, it implies that she spoke on A, B, and C, you know. And
how did he get on the
just
phone?
got really mad at the end. And that was the end of civilized conversation, or even the anything approximating it. Yeah, pretending in the most obvious way. I was trying to act deliberately and sincere there. Like, it was obvious I knew more than I was going on for, but, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna get so many followers from it. Yeah, I'm gonna get so many followers from this epic own where after 15 minutes of questioning, link an article to you that it says nothing you said it said. Fantastic stuff. Luda and non-compete were also intentionally bad faith. Non-compete was a different kind of bad faith. That's a more normal kind of bad faith. Non-compete's bad faith was that he was uncharitable and dishonest, but like in a normal way. He wasn't doing like the giggling fascist disingenuity thing that's so common these days. Yeah, his primary ideology was wanting to call me a Nazi pedophile, so at least in the sense that with regards to that ideological preference, he had fun there.
Stupid fucking raptor. Blocking my goddamn ice ball. Yes. Oh, he's dead already. Nice. Quick, spawn the birds. We're gonna lose. Spawn the birds. Come on, come on, come on. Fuck. Yes, we got it. Thank God. Oh. Education commercial jingle. Education commercial jingle.
Hey. Oh, boy, man, I'm pumped for this react. And see you. You ready? What's up? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm ready. You sure you're ready?
Of course. What do you
Like this?
Oh, it's just we're watching Doug the Bounty Hunter. I thought I'd dress up a bit like a bounty hunter, you know?
Which bounty hunter dressed like this?
Dog, I just said Dog the Bounty Hunter. You know, he wears cool shit like this, and he's a tough guy, beats up poor people. It's gonna. Okay. You don't know much about bounty hunters, do you?
No, obviously not.
Here's how it goes, man. See, back in the day, if you were rich enough, you could put a bounty on some poor guy, and then desperate thugs from across the land would race to kill that guy first. And of course, you know, as a society, we've come a long way since then.
That mustache looks weird in the mask.
Thanks to capitalism, we can still have violent mercenaries who beat up poor people for money, but we can also watch them as a profitable television spectacle
For the whole family to enjoy.
Yes.
Let's watch.
Why are you just allowed to have full episodes of it on YouTube?
Maybe the season's over, so there's no law enforcement to come and arrest all the people who are uploading these things.
Or maybe it's how he gets material. His later episodes are just busting people that upload Doug the Bounty Hunter.
His name's Dog. To come and arrest all the people who are uploading these things.
Or maybe it's how he gets material. His later episodes are just
Showing
busting
some
people
good
that upload
Siri.
Doug the Bounty Hunter.
His name's Dog.
Dog?
Yeah.
Not Doug.
Not Dog.
Alright, sorry.
Oh, gold? What do we got?
On the ground! On the ground!
Oh.
You're under arrest, you got it?
I'll take the
Bounty
gold.
hunter is not a sworn-in law official.
The
but I
Bitcoin.
am on that totem pole.
What are they doing on the beach? I have no idea how to respond if someone behind me yelled freeze. You look around, it's just a guy in like black pants.
I would be terrified.
Like, what do they want? Are they trying? I think he's trying to rob me.
I am a lawman on a mission from God.
He's on a mission from God.
Amazing.
These are all like sinners. This is God providing the bounties as well.
Where does he get the bounties from the Bible? Just opens its home. Oh, there you go. Fresh one today.
What makes Doug a good hunter is that his children are basically riding on every single bounty.
All right, love you. Okay, love you.
I would be a little scared if my dad
Choked me with a glove.
choked me with a glove to say goodbye. See you later, kid. That's how you raise bounty hunters.
You can't see the bone. She's probably like not touching the ground. Probably just taking it. I love you.
Love you. Yeah, that's a bad guy. You want?
You gotta choke your son as well.
Kids are my whole life.
Yes, he does. He kisses everyone like that.
Dogs are like smiling and handing him the handcuffs.
Go get it, daddy.
This show's mad.
This is
That's the thing. It's
this is,
really
I'm getting
cool.
very excited.
It's almost like slightly gay. Like everyone's like leather daddies.
Yeah, that's it. Especially when he's choking every single person he interacts with.
All of these people represent a significant amount of money.
They do bond loans. Someone's going to go to jail. They front them the money for their bonds, and if they don't pay them back, they go attach them.
We saw in America where it was like, we'll give bonds to anyone.
Yeah.
The repercussions are if you don't, this man comes and just beats you up. It's like a mobster thing where you borrow money from the mob, except
They
it's,
come break it in.
it's Doug coming to kill you.
On a TV show. Someone's making money off the fact that they can't pay their bonds. If anything, they're scouting for people who can't pay their bonds.
They want it.
Yeah.
They want it. It'd be
Like,
funny
it's
if
a
they
more-
asked them other questions as well, like, yep, how good are you at running?
Ooh, sounds like you're breathing quite heavily on the phone. Potentially respiratory issues. Oh, I can give you $1 million. I can give you all. I can eat somebody.
You want this guy?
We could lose all that money and the kids don't eat. And that's where Big Daddy comes in.
Kids don't eat, so they're on the edge of starvation. My kids will starve unless my big tough husband beats up these other people with starving
Beats up
kids.
these poor people.
If this guy goes to jail, his kids will starve as well. They're both edging off starvation.
Whose life are we gonna ruin today?
Funny, he's like, no, we live in this system where poor guys get fucked up, and I'm the one to do it.
I'm not gonna be a poor guy.
We gotta catch this guy, because this is a Chapman gone array.
That's our name. That is a flat disgrace to our name, and we won't allow it.
I love it saying that's a disgrace to our name. Mark Chapman killed John Lennon. So what are you talking about? Do you know any of the most famous person with your name?
If Doug was around, then that would not have happened.
No.
He would have stopped Pat Chapman in his tracks.
Or arrested him afterwards.
He did.
And he got the bounty on him.
Yeah.
I want the Chapman name going like that. We want that Chapman just to be positive all the time. Chapman does good, Chapman does great, Chapman does better.
Chapman does good. I love Chapman. No Chapman has ever done anything.
It's good to watch
What's
later.
his story? Another escape guy?
No, he just got out of prison doing a 10-year stretch. And then they brought him here for furlough for his last year.
Uh-huh.
You know what else that happened recently?
Bastard. I voted for him twice. Okay. Because I hated John McCain. I thought John McCain was a horribly. I've always hated McCain and Romney. But you know,
but if you let me ask you, you cited Reagan, right?
Yes.
Reagan was big on defense.
Yes.
He quadrupled the defense budget. He also jacked up the debt, but that's neither here or there. Yeah. But if you're
we don't
big
talk
on
about
defense, if a Democratic politician had classified documents of attack plans, human spies. Wait, let me finish. Trump had documents on human sources, which are spies, attack plans against Iran. Obviously, he's entitled to his defense. I'm pretty sure you'd be having a meltdown, particularly if it was Obama.
Did Biden have They all have documents.
I know they all
This
do.
is a non-crime.
Indict them all, but I'm asking you Trump
This is a non.
specifically.
What is he doing with the documents?
We don't know.
We'll never
He's
know.
not supposed to take them. I don't know. Oh, some guy. Oh,
We
some
could
guy
use
stole
two
your car.
barrages.
Bro, who cares?
Nice pink though.
What's he even doing with it? It's a non-crime. Cars get stolen every single day.
God damn it, Roadblock, get this
What's he
dance.
even doing with the car? I don't know. He stole
Fuck.
it. Give it back. I don't don't care what he's doing with it. He took them. Give them back. Whether the act of stealing them, lying about it, and not giving them back is a huge issue. You know what else? You know what else that happened?
Oh, he did the Michael Jackson kid diddle.
That a lot of people have.
Where he
really
looks
talked
down
about,
because they're so small.
This came out really recently. This came out kind of recently. It's a story
see that
didn't
again.
get too much. It's a story that didn't get too much.
Oh, show me that little boy. Where's he at?
I think it's.
Gotta look down because he's so short.
This is probably their like worst night. This is like their worst scenario. Okay, Donald Trump basically did Benghazi, but on a larger scale. Like Donald Trump did like Giga Benghazi.
T-Rex.
Okay, remember how all the Republicans were getting on Hillary Clinton for her mishandling of Benghazi, and getting a bunch of U.S. soldiers killed? Well, Donald Trump did that, but even worse. Okay, because instead of it just being your average, soldier who was killed because of the mishandling of that operation, Donald Trump got high-level CIA informants captured by enemy combatants.
Where the fuck is this?
And or killed. Who were abroad. And I'm not personally shedding that many tears over a weirdo CIA informants in different countries, but I will say, if you care about this type of stuff, and the possibility of counterintelligence agencies being compromised by foreign governments, then I would think your average Republican would. Don't you think that this would be something that you would really like to talk about? Don't you think? Probably tweeting their identities and locations. That's almost exactly what happened.
Show me that belly.
The funniest thing is that's almost exactly what happened. Donald Trump they used to give Donald Trump briefings about important things because he's the president of the United States, and then he used to brag about the things that he knew and the top secret stuff that they told him when he went, talking to other people, and other foreign diplomats. And so he would just like spew top secret information about the names and locations and like whereabouts of certain CIA informants and other like intelligence agency informants in other countries doing like counterintelligence work for like the military.
Thank you,
and
Nimbus.
they got captured
Keeping me juiced up
and or killed, losing dozens, and others got disappeared. Dozens of U.S. informants. He cut a large part of our incredibly important counterintelligence officials and like double agents across the world for like to boost his own ego and like pump up his own personal feelings about himself. It's crazy. It's genuinely insane. Top American counterintelligence officials warned every CIA station and base around the world last week about troubling numbers of
I forgot we gotta protect the ship.
Recruited from other countries to spy on the U.S. being captured or killed. People familiar with the matter? You know what it said? It's just wild. It was just crazy. It's just insane. But okay, anyways. Benghazi 2, Electric Boogaloo, we don't care about that.
Is he selling them? Come on.
Well, they're the property,
the real
they're the property of the U.S. government, not Donald Trump.
The real crimes of the Biden family. The real crimes are the Biden family taking bribes. I mean.
Well, let's say that's true.
No.
I'm not ignoring.
Nice.
Let's say that's true. Let's say that's true.
Yeah.
I actually think Hillary should have been indicted.
Hillary,
I think Hunter should be indicted.
Hillary should be in prison for life.
But let's say all that's true.
Actually, Hillary's a murderer.
Let's say all that's true. You cited Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan was big on defense.
Yeah.
So if any other politician had classified documents that is not their property, it's the government's
For one
property.
thing, the president can declassify anything.
But oh my gosh, it's talking to a bot. Beep boop talking to a bot. Well, actually, he can declassify. Well, he didn't. For one, he can't declassify whatever he wants. And two, no. Actually, he didn't declassify. And he's not the president anymore. He can't just take something without declassifying it and then just keep it. He can't even take something and then even not keep it. Like he can't just like scoop up stuff. Like even the president isn't allowed anywhere, everywhere at all points in time. You know that, right? Like the president isn't allowed to even just like waltz into Fort Knox whenever they want. Just because you're the president doesn't mean you're like the God, King, Emperor of the United States who can do whatever they want whenever they want. It doesn't work like that.
I can't talk to you about this.
What about Biden's where nobody pays attention to Biden?
Why is every response?
It's
What
not
about?
a serious crime. It's a non-crime. You asked me what did he do?
It's not a non. You don't get arrested. Listen, let me tell you something. You don't get arrested, charged, and indicted for non-crimes. That only happens with. You're telling me they invented a crime to arrest him for? I'm pretty sure it was already on the books, actually. You know what? One thing I hope he brings it up. I hope he brings this up. Donald Trump literally increased the penalty for you mishandling classified documents when he was in office. He moved it from it was kind of a non-crime. Like before this, he actually kind of was right that it was kind of a non-crime. But actually, when Donald Trump was in office, he moved mishandling classified documents from being a misdemeanor to being a class 1 felony. With a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison. He did that specifically. He did that himself. And then he committed the crime that he increased the penalty for.
Oh, fuck
but
me.
Then now we're calling it, and he said he did that specifically so
They're
he could
teabagging my body. Fuck you.
Hillary Clinton in jail. But Hillary Clinton didn't go to jail at all. And then this guy is now facing down the barrel of 400 years in prison. They're throwing him into the goddamn ever jail. They're throwing him into the goddamn bottomless pit. But apparently it's a non-crime, I guess.
This country was dying.
But you're saying it's a crime. You just said it's not a serious crime.
No, it's a non-crime. Okay. The real crimes are what the Biden family is doing right now. The corruption, the bribery.
Tell me about that.
But I'm talking about, you wanted to know what he did for this country.
No, but wait. What's the Biden?
Let me answer the previous question. Okay. For 8 years, the country was in a slide, and we had this Kenyan bastard tell us.
What the fuck?
Oh, that's just the way it is. Capitalism had its day, man.
He was born in Hawaii.
No, actually,
you voted for him twice.
Yes, watch Sins, and I hope God forgives me. Watch the Sins of My Real Father. Okay. He was probably born in the U.S. anyway. Probably in Washington or Oregon. Regardless, he's a one president we haven't reviewed. But the thing is, Trump came in and gave us
just conspiracy theories and racism.
He saved this.
Put the Bolivian music over this. If there was less background noise, I would. It would just be so cluttered. Now that there is since there's so much background noise and music at the moment. But yeah, that's crazy.
Nation. He absolutely saved. He made us strong again. He made us proud again. He didn't start a single war, and he ended wars. He ended wars that Obama had started.
Which war did he end?
We were fighting in like 7 different countries. We cut that down by about 3. And he didn't start any new wars.
Which countries did he stop fighting? I'm asking. You're saying why you loved him. Which wars did he stop?
Name.
He didn't stop.
Name a war.
No,
Damn, get him, Dino.
Biden did.
What? He can't do it. He can't do it. You know, this guy would not be allowed to have a conversation. For one, yes. And this guy would not be allowed to have a conversation. He couldn't speak if you like sat him down and said you can't say the word Biden. He wouldn't be able to have a conversation. I don't even think he would be able to speak, honestly. I think every other sentence that comes out of his mouth is like has Biden's name in it. I genuinely don't.
Got rid of one already. Nice.
To have a conversation with a human being. But Biden. Yo, you're the one wearing a Donald Trump shirt. Stop talking about Trump. Talk about Biden. Stop talking about Biden. Talk about Trump. Like, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, Biden. Hey, I'm not a Biden fan. He took us out of Afghanistan.
He took us out of Afghanistan and left a field of dead soldiers, dead Afghanistan citizens, gave the Taliban billions of weapons that they're going to use
What did you think was going to happen? Leaving a war we should have known.
That wasn't the way to leave. But Trump. But now
it was better than what Trump. Dude, that was not the way to. Dude, I love this guy because if Donald Trump did it, he would.
Why did the enemy come with their dino?
He would be like, Donald Trump is the world's greatest hero to ever live. But since Biden did it,
yes, let's go.
Biden, he hates it.
I'm ready for him.
Which is so funny because Biden literally had to take time and slow down Donald Trump's plan of leaving Afghanistan because it was so bad and rushed. And still that happened. It's almost like it was a bad idea.
Dumbass pussy. Get the fuck out of here.
Obamacare. Ask him what he thinks about Obamacare, and then ask him what he thinks about the Affordable Health Care Act. I want to know. I want to see. What about Obamacare? Terrible, destroyed everything. It's horrible. It's absolutely a mess. What do you think about the Affordable Care Act? I think it's really great, and they should stop trying to ruin it. It helped my mom.
I can't get into it. I'm saying
I can't get into it. Is it secret? Is it super secret? Are you one of those special informants that Trump got killed?
He pinky swore.
That Trump endangered? Is the Taliban after you now, brother? What happened? What happened? I can't get into it. I know you can't. There's nothing to get into.
we had a great economy, a great country, a strong country. And now we have a country that is dying. We are absolutely dying. It is descending into madness and depravity. Hey, I have a friend.
It's going to hell.
Make sure you follow Chef Clean.
Hey,
Status quo. You want to get in? Because I hear you talking. Okay. We're status quo. Oh yeah. YouTube, 142,000 subscribers. We mean no harm. Just
I'm 102,000 subscribers. Hey, how's it going? I'm a pretty big thing if you think about it. Hey. Anyways.
Oh, really? Really? Well, you're extremely antagonistic.
No.
Okay, so you're asking.
So you're you're extremely antagonistic and confrontational by asking a guy to list off things that he said that happened. So true. I'm just asking questions.
No.
Well, if you want to be interviewed, you're on camera. No, not wanted to. Which war did he stop?
No, it was a negotiation.
Okay. The answer is no. The answer, just so you know.
Here you go, Roadblock. Little pre-battle motivation for you. There you go, my fresh nuts. Just took a shower this morning. Use that black soap, charcoal soap.
Back in like 2019, where it was back-to-back memes. It was Area 51.
Anytime, Daddy.
And then it was World
Glad you
War
liked
III,
it.
And then it was COVID-19. COVID-19.
Oh, another
like
one.
2020,
Okay.
Well, late 2019, early 2020. Right.
There you go.
I guess we just forget
You're
about
doing
that.
yoga.
I guess we just don't talk about that. The 2020 event, yeah. We just don't speak about that. It's okay. The more we don't speak about it, the better Trump looks. Okay. So just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Very cool. Very smart and very cool people. You know a lot. Very serious human beings. Definitely not giga cringe, as many people would say. As many people would not say. They would never say that. I know I would never say that. Never ever once. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the friends.
How the fuck did you hit me, bro?
Thank you.
What the fuck was that? Thank you, team. Fucking stupid ass unblockable one hit. Thought he was just gonna do a regular attack. There we go. Good shit. Slower than fuck the enemy team. Look, we're fine. We're right here. We're together. We're keeping up. We're both keeping up. Good shit. God damn it, Zephyr, it's always you. Shit! Thank you, thank you. Need that, thank you. Zephyr, you always need health. Even Deadeye's better than Deadeye's better than him, but I guess this is because I can do a lot of damage at range. He gets into the shit, but he doesn't really have anything to keep him in there. They should have made him the samurai. Where's the other butthead guy? There. Where is he? Good shit. Gotta kill another butthead. Goddamn boy. Eat that little dino booty hole, it's so tight. It's ancient. Put it in the microwave. spinning. Yeah. I know you're coming for me. Let's go. Oh, I should have helped him with that bird. Forgot about the objective. God damn it. This is why we need a regular casual PvE mode. So we can just kill everything we see and not have to... Ooh, raptor rain. Let's do it. Let's do it. Shit. That did nothing. Oh, big dino. Too bad, big guy. Too bad, bitch. Oh, jeez! Fuck. Well, team lacks support. What happened to Witch Doctor? Oh, he's dinoing. Oh, that's right. I got my my thing, my special. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm gonna be the hero. Oh, perfect. Great, the enemy dino ruined our raptor rain mission. Instead of focusing on the dinos, now we get to, Yep, match almost ends soon. Great. Great raptor rain. Jesus Christ. Fucking PvP ruins this shit. Great. Alright, I'm bored. And there's really nothing else to do. Savage Gauntlet ended. And it's just, that's it, I guess. For now. Until they feel like, putting a new event. Whatever. Yay! I got all the cool suits for everybody. Binky. I'll get you, Binky. There we go. Premium Survival Pass. God damn it. Yeah, I got the best skin for him. Most Sephi. Yep, my boy. All blinged out. This one's nice. That one's really nice. The UAP Premium. Jesus fuck. Yeah, the Necromancer. That is nice. Well, that's it. Done everything. Bought everything I've wanted.